The Forgotten Exodus, Jews from Arab lands. Ladies and gentlemen, for centuries, Jewish communities thrived across the Arab world. From Morocco to Iraq, Egypt to Yemen, Jews were part of the social, cultural, and economic fabric of their societies. They lived as neighbors, scholars, tradespeople, and leaders. But by the mid-20th century, a dramatic and painful chapter began, an exodus that would uproot nearly 1 million Jews from their ancient homes. This is the story of the forgotten Jewish refugees from Arab lands, a story often overlooked in international discussions about the Middle East. Jewish life in the Middle East and North Africa stretches back over 2,500 years. From the great academies of Babylon and Baghdad to the vibrant Jewish quarters in Cairo, Aleppo, and Tunis, these communities thrived for generations. By the early 20th century, almost 1 million Jews lived across the Arab world. But everything began to change as nationalism grew, anti-Semitism intensified, and tensions around the creation of the State of Israel increased. The violence escalated. In 1941, the Farhud pogrom in Baghdad left dozens of Jews murdered and many injured. Across the region, discriminatory laws were passed. Jews lost their citizenship, their property, and their rights. By 1948, the year Israel was established, many Jews in Arab countries faced increasing persecution and hostility. That same year, Israel was attacked by several Arab states in a war of survival. Although Israel wanted to help Jews fleeing danger, it wasn't ready for such a large wave of immigration. At first, the government made rules to control the flow. For example, until 1955, only Moroccan Jews between the ages of 18 and 45, or from wealthy families, were allowed to immigrate to Israel. Despite the restrictions, Israel organized daring rescue operations. One of the most famous was Operation Magic Carpet in 1949. In this mission, about 45,000 Jews were flown out of Yemen. Many had to walk for days, some by donkey, across deserts to reach the airstrips. It was a long, dangerous journey, but it brought nearly the entire Yemeni Jewish community to safety. Then, in 1951 and 1952, Operation Ezra and Nehemiah brought more than 120,000 Jews from Iraq to Israel, one of the largest rescue airlifts in Jewish history. Let's take a moment to understand the scale of this exodus. Morocco once had over 250,000 Jews. Today, there are around 2,000. Tunisia's Jewish population dropped from 100,000 to about 1,000. Egypt had 75,000 Jews, and Iraq had 135,000. Now fewer than 20 Jews remain in either country. Yemen once had 60,000 Jews. Today, around 50 are left. Syria's Jewish community went from 30,000 to fewer than 15. Algeria had 140,000 Jews, and Libya had 38,000. Today, none remain. Even smaller communities were affected. In Bahrain, following the Manama pogrom of 1947, the Jewish population dropped from 600 to about 40. Most of these Jews found refuge in Israel. At first, they lived in tent cities, then in ma'abarot, temporary immigrant camps. Over time, these became towns and neighborhoods during the 1950s and 60s. But the transition wasn't easy. The Mizrahi Jews, Jews from Arab and Muslim countries, often faced discrimination in Israel. Compared to European Jews, they were economically and socially disadvantaged. But despite the hardship, they persevered. Their struggles sparked social movements and gradually led to a more equal society. Yet, their story has received little recognition globally. Since 1947, the United Nations has passed more than 170 resolutions about Palestinian refugees, but not a single one about Jewish refugees from Arab countries. From Israel's perspective, the events of 1948 were a population exchange, similar to what happened in other parts of the world after World War II. Israel absorbed Jewish refugees from both Europe and the Arab world. At the same time, it expected Arab states to take care of the Palestinian refugees, especially since those states had declared war on Israel. Today, this forgotten chapter is finally getting more attention. Every year, on November 30th, Israel and Jewish communities around the world observe the Day of Commemoration for Jewish refugees from Arab countries and Iran. This day honors the more than 850,000 Jews who were forced to flee their homelands simply because they were Jewish. In recent years, efforts have been made to preserve their memory. The Israeli government and Jewish organizations have documented testimonies, organized educational events, and created school programs to teach future generations about this exodus. These steps are helping to ensure that this vital part of Jewish and Middle Eastern history is not forgotten. At the same time, there is hope. The Abraham Accords, signed in 2020, showed that peace and cooperation between Israel and Arab nations is not only possible, it's already happening. These agreements open new doors for diplomacy, tourism, and economic collaboration. But peace is more than signed documents. True peace must include education, mutual respect, and the honest telling of history. We must fight anti-Semitism through learning, by teaching about the Holocaust, about Jewish heritage, and about the shared roots of Jewish and Arab cultures. Most importantly, we must remember the voices that were silenced, the communities that vanished, and honor the contributions of the Jews who once lived in Arab lands. Because peace is not just about treaties, it's about truth, healing, and recognizing each other's humanity. When we do that, we don't just remember the past, we shape a better future. Thank you.